Hello, welcome everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to learn three things. First of all, how to create a list of entries that restricts the values allowed in a cell. Secondly, how to create a validation list that changes based on a selection from another list. And finally, how to create some custom messages to guide users more effectively. Now, before we start creating validation list, let's look at how it would look like once we're done. In this tutorial, I've got different categories and subcategories, and in the categories field, I've defined three different categories: fruits, furniture, and others. And I've also put together different subcategory items. Note that if you select fruits, you'll see only the fruit items, and if you change the selection to furniture, you'll see only the furniture items. And the same will apply for the others category as well. If you change to others, then you'll see other items that do not belong to the fruit or furniture category. And you can also see that there's this custom information box hanging. There can be any information that you'd like to put here. And another thing I'd like to show here is that if you try to put something which doesn't belong to the list here, a custom warning sign, a stop message will appear. It says invalid entry, please select from the drop down list. You can put anything you like. You can give some other information, or you can put some other custom warning sign here. This is a custom message that you can design using validation list. So you see, using different techniques of validation list, you can create list of entries for the users to pick from. You can also create some custom information box. You can even restrict the users from entering something which is not valid. Now that we've seen what the end result will look like, let's go on creating a validation list for the category field here. Select A3, go to data, select validation, and in the allow criteria, select list. And define the data source here. Select E3 to E5. Click OK. Now I've got the validation list for the category field here. Now I'd like to do the same for the item field. Go to data once more. Select validation. Select list from the allow criteria field. And define the data source, which lies in the F column. Select F3 to F25. Click OK. Now unfortunately we can see all the other items apart from fruits here, which is very inconvenient to pick from. In order to show only the corresponding list for the item field here, we need to do things in a different way. First of all, I separated the items that for the three different categories into three different columns here, and I'd like to name them before I use them in the criteria formula. First of all, select the item for the fruits, and then come down to the name box here and name them fruits. Then go on, select the furniture items and name them furniture. Do the same for the other items as well. Now let's redefine the validation list for the item field here. Select B3, go to data, select validation, and in the source criteria, instead of that static range, we'd like to introduce an if function here. If A3, which is the category field here, make sure that A3 is relative reference and not an absolute one. If A3 is fruits, then only the list of fruits will be shown in the validation list for the item. And if A3 is furniture, only the list of furnitures will be shown in the item validation list. And if A3 is others, then only the list of other items will be shown in the item validation list. And then carefully close the brackets here. Now if you see the formulas, you can see that instead of that static range, we have defined a formula here, and we have actually used all the names that we've defined earlier: fruits, furniture, and others. These are the names that we've defined. Once you're done, click OK. Now you can see that the fruit is selected as the category here, and you can only see the fruit items in the item validation list. And if you change the selection to furniture, you can see only the furniture items here. And same will apply for the others category as well. You can see only the other items here. Now let's copy it down to the rows below to see if it works. Now change the selection to furniture here. Only the furniture items are shown. And it works really well. Now let's create some custom messages here. First, select A3 to A6, and then go to Data, select Validation, and in the Input Message tab, put a title in here, something like Category, and then write down your custom input message. This is basically designed to guide the users into the right direction. Once you're done with writing the message, press OK. Now you can see the input message is hanging in there. Now let's create some error alert for the item fields. Select the item field, go to the Data, Validation, and then let's come down to the Error Alert tab, put a title in here, something like Invalid Input, and then write down your custom error message. Please select from the drop-down list box. This is basically will be shown if user enters something which is not valid, which is not listed in the validation list here. Now try to enter something which is not valid for the item field. Now you see, if you try to enter something which is not valid, immediately that custom error alert message is there saying that invalid input. Please select from the drop down list box. So in this tutorial, we've created a simple data validation list. We've created a custom input message. We've also created a data validation list that is dependent on the first layer of selection here. We've even restricted the users from entering something which is not valid. So that's it, and thanks for watching.